There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when the heavens go silent and the earth starts to tremble. Not because you did something wrong, but because your presence, your very being, is divinely disruptive. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken the world by unsettling it. And now those who dismissed you, betrayed you, or tried to bury your light are beginning to realize the magnitude of what they've lost. They're looking back now, but it's too late. You, chosen one, are not just someone they used to know. You were the breakthrough they weren't all ready for, the mirror they couldn't handle, the storm sent by the divine to shake them out of their illusions, and instead, they turned their backs on you. You were mocked when you loved deeply, shamed when you gave selflessly, abandoned when you needed them most. But now the veil is lifting. Now they see what they couldn't see before. Now they feel the absence of your divine energy like a chilling silence after the music stops. You were not ordinary. You were the lesson they refused to learn. Chosen one, let's speak plainly. Your life has been filled with patterns of pain, not because you were weak, but because you carried the vibration of truth. And truth is a dangerous thing in a world built on deception. You didn't just walk into people's lives, you shifted atmospheres without even trying. Your presence was a threat to their ego, their comfort, their facades. And so, they pushed you away. But here's the divine irony. They thought they were discarding something replaceable. Instead, they discarded a vessel of light, a divine messenger. They were too blind to recognize who you truly were, but now the spiritual fog is lifting, and what they see haunts them. They see the glow they once ignored. They hear the wisdom in your silence. They feel the protection that followed them when you were near and the chaos that came after you left. You see, they thought your kindness was naivety. They thought your silence meant defeat. But it wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. It was divine restraint. God had you in a season of hiddenness, testing your spirit, building your resilience. And now, that season is coming to an end. Now your light can no longer be denied. Now your transformation is impossible to ignore. They regret losing you, not just because they miss you, but because they finally see who you were all along. You were the one praying for them behind closed doors, the one loving them through their brokenness, the one forgiving them when they kept repeating the same cycles. And instead of appreciating your sacred presence, they mocked it, they drained it, they misused it. But understand that their rejection was the catalyst. It awakened the sleeping giant within you. Their betrayal cracked open the shell of your spirit and unleashed your divine purpose. They may have laughed when you walked away, but now they're watching you rise in a glory they can't touch, can't reach, and can't replicate. You were never meant to be accepted by the crowd. Your path was carved by the divine, and now the people who once couldn't see your value are being forced to watch you glow from afar. That's not revenge. That's restoration. That's alignment. That's God reminding the world, touch not my anointed. You didn't just survive, chosen one. You outgrew the environments that tried to limit you. You transcended the pain they tried to bury you under. You blossomed in silence, and now your bloom is undeniable. There is no turning back. And those who thought they were better off without you, now they're silently weeping in the shadows, remembering how warm your spirit felt, how real your love was, how patient your soul remained, despite everything they put you through. They didn't just lose a person, they lost a divine encounter. And the void they feel now, it's not just regret, it's spiritual hunger, a hunger that only your kind of energy could satisfy. But your season of pouring into the ungrateful has passed. Your season of dimming your light to make others comfortable is over. Now the light is on full display. Now the tables are turning. Now the crown is being placed. You are the evidence that God uses the rejected to build the unshakable. You are the embodiment of divine favor in human form, and the very ones who once tried to silence your voice are now whispering about your strength behind closed doors. It hurts, doesn't it? The people who once made you question your worth are now questioning their own judgment. They thought they knew you. but they didn't know the depth of your calling. They couldn't perceive the anointing wrapped around your soul, and by the time they opened their eyes, it was already too late. You've ascended, spiritually, emotionally, energetically. They can't reach you now, not because you're cruel, but because your growth demanded separation. God removed you so he could renew you, and in that renewal, he exposed who was truly for you and who only tolerated you. There was a time when you would have gone back, apologized just to keep the peace, lowered yourself just to be loved. But not anymore. That version of you is gone. That version of you was the caterpillar. But now, you're the butterfly. And butterflies don't return to the ground once they've learned how to fly. So let them regret. Let them remember. Let them cry silent tears while they scroll through your pictures, watching your elevation in disbelief. Let them witness the radiance they once mishandled. You are not here for revenge. You are here for revelation. You're the living testimony that divine rejection is divine protection, that the people who broke you were the same ones God used to bless you, that every loss was the setup for your launch. Chosen one, they regret losing you now because they finally see who you really are. But you already knew. You always knew. You just forgot for a moment, and now you're remembering too. There were nights when you cried yourself to sleep, asking the heavens why your heart had to carry so much, why you had to endure so much betrayal from people you loved deeply, why the ones you were sent to uplift were the very ones who tried to tear you down. And yet, you never stopped showing up. Even in your brokenness, you kept giving. Even when your spirit was crushed under the weight of rejection, you still prayed for their peace. You fought battles no one saw. You bled in silence while smiling in public. You bore the weight of others' projections because your spirit was built to carry more than just your own pain. It was built to carry legacy. You've walked through fire, chosen one, and no one clapped when you survived. But the angels did. The heavens rejoiced. God watched you. He saw you resist the temptation to become bitter. He saw you forgive people who never apologized. He saw you rise again and again when life tried to convince you that you were unworthy. They didn't know your spirit was forged in warfare. You weren't just surviving earthly challenges. You were surviving spiritual attacks sent to extinguish your divine assignment. Some of the battles you faced weren't even about you. They were about the light you carry. The generational curses you were born to break. The chains you were anointed to shatter. That's why it felt like you were constantly under siege, because you are a threat to darkness. You weren't just fighting people. You were fighting the energy behind them, the envy they didn't even understand, the spiritual resistance that saw your crown before you could even walk confidently in it. Have you ever wondered why certain people hated you for no reason? Why some would gossip behind your back even after you showed them nothing but love? It's because their spirit recognized your assignment before their mind could process it, and the darkness in them couldn't stand the light in you. But through it all, you remained. Even when you were slandered, you remained. Even when they tried to erase your name, your essence lingered. You see, chosen one, your strength wasn't just in surviving. It was in maintaining your purity through the storm. While others sold their soul for validation, you stood firm. While they played with dark tactics, manipulation, lies, betrayal, you held your integrity like a sword, and now God is honoring that. The season of divine reversal is here. They tried to ruin your name, but now God is restoring it. They tried to keep doors shut in your face, but now those very doors are opening with force. They tried to laugh at your fall, but now they tremble at your rise. Because you didn't just survive the attack, you became stronger because of it. They thought you were soft, but softness isn't weakness. It's divine strength under control. The world underestimated your fire because you rarely let it burn. But now that fire is rising, that sacred rage, that righteous energy, that divine boldness, it's awakening. And the ones who left you for dead are now checking your every move. Not because they care, but because they fear. They fear what you've become without them. They fear how powerful you've grown in their absence. They see it now, the glow, the favor, the grace that follows you like a crown of light. And here's the truth they never expected to confront. You were the blessing. You were the protector. You were the reason things stayed peaceful. The moment you left, everything fell apart. Their relationships started to fail. Their finances dried up. Their joy vanished. Why? Because your presence was divine covering. You didn't just love them. You interceded for them. You shielded them from energies they weren't even aware of. But they took it for granted. They thought your presence was ordinary. They confused your humility for desperation. They thought you needed them, when in truth, you were sent to help them elevate. And when they pushed you away, they pushed away their breakthrough. Now all they have is regret. But this is not the time for you to look back. You've carried others for too long. Now it's your season to fly. And as you rise, don't expect everyone to celebrate. Some will pretend they don't see you. Others will silently compete. Even though you're not playing the same game, you're not here to prove anything. You're here to fulfill purpose. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them wonder how you keep glowing after all you've been through. You're not the same person they walked away from. That version of you died in the wilderness. What stands now is the refined you, the appointed you, the spiritually armored you. And you wear your scars like sacred badges. You carry the lessons in your eyes and the glory in your voice. There's something different about you now, and they feel it. You're no longer chasing. You're attracting. You're no longer begging. You're commanding. You're no longer hoping they'll see your worth. Now they do, and it scares them, because it means they lost the very thing they spent so long mocking. They regret it now, the things they said, the love they rejected, the loyalty they abused. They wish they could go back and treat you right, but God has already rewritten your future. Their chapter in your story has ended, and it ended for a reason. You were always meant to be seen through spiritual eyes, not carnal ones. That's why they couldn't recognize you. You weren't sent to entertain them. You were sent to elevate them. But some people can't honor what they don't understand. And now, as your light breaks through the atmosphere, they finally understand what they had and what they lost. Let the regret sit with them. Let it be their teacher. You've got nothing left to prove. The heavens are applauding. Your ancestors are cheering. The divine is lifting you higher, and your enemies are now your footstool. You've passed the tests. You've endured the fires. You've walked through valleys others wouldn't survive. And now, you are rising, not just in the natural, but in the spirit. You are no longer the wounded healer. You are the reigning warrior. And everyone who played a part in your pain is now watching your prophecy unfold. Because when God says, "Touch not my anointed," he doesn't just mean protection. He means vengeance is his. And baby, vengeance is sweet when it's silent. They regret it now because they see who you really are. But now it's time for you to keep moving forward. The throne awaits. The mission continues. And destiny is calling. Chosen one, the winds are shifting. And not just in your favor, but to reveal truth, to expose the unseen, to exalt those who've remained humble in the face of humiliation. You've suffered in silence long enough. The mocking, the sabotage, the lies spoken with smiling faces, the moments when your name was dragged in places your feet had never even walked. But now, justice is moving. The divine is not asleep. He saw it all, every silent cry, every betrayal you kept quiet about, every secret battle where you wanted to give up but still whispered, "God, I trust you." And now the heavens are opening, not just to comfort you, but to reveal you. God is about to make it known publicly what was always true privately, that you were never the villain, that your intentions were pure, that your loyalty was unmatched, that while they played games with your love, you were building altars in the spirit, asking, for their healing. Now the very ones who distorted your image are about to watch the divine correct the record. This is the season of reversal. Those who cursed your name will now have to speak it with reverence. Those who counted you out will now be forced to count on you. Those who laughed at your suffering will now choke on their pride as they witness your rise. But this isn't about revenge, chosen one. This is about redemption. God is not elevating you just to make a point. He's elevating you to fulfill prophecy. Your life was always meant to stand as a testimony of how He raises the lowly, how He crowns the misunderstood, how He vindicates the righteous. You are proof that no lie can override divine truth. No slander can cancel divine favor. And in the days ahead, you're going to feel it. That shift in energy, that quiet hush in the spirit, as your name begins to echo through circles that once shut you out. The same people who said you were too much, too intense, too spiritual, are now desperately trying to reconnect with the very power they once ridiculed. Because they feel it now. They see what they couldn't before. Your peace is louder than their noise. Your light is shining too brightly to be ignored. And while they're regretting, you're rising. Chosen one, I want you to hear this deeply. There is no force strong enough to block a destiny ordained by God. You are stepping into a season where divine justice won't just be felt, it will be witnessed. People will look at you and wonder, how are they still standing? How are they glowing like that? And the answer will be simple: favor. God's hand is on you. And His justice isn't just coming, it's already here. He's restoring everything they stole from you: time, confidence, reputation, resources. He's replacing every tear with triumph, every scar with spiritual authority, every abandonment with divine alignment. Because you didn't just endure, you evolved. You grew in the dark. You transformed when no one was watching. And now that you're about to be revealed, it's going to look sudden to them. But to you, it was never sudden. It was sacred. It was strategic. You knew you were being prepared. You just didn't realize how powerful you'd become in the process. And now the blessings are aligning with your frequency. Doors are opening not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. People are being removed, not because you're rejecting them, but because they cannot walk with the new you, the healed you, the aware you, the spiritually awakened you. This is your winning season, not in a shallow, materialistic way, but in a soul-deep, heaven-ordained way. Everything that tried to break you only made you bolder. Every delay was divine protection. Every no was redirection. And every loss was necessary for your recalibration. It had to happen this way. They had to leave. They had to betray. They had to misunderstand. Because if they had truly seen who you were, they would have never let you go. But their spiritual blindness was part of your blueprint. Their rejection became the road to your revelation. And now God is turning the mirror back on them, not to shame them, but to awaken them. You were the seed of truth in their life. And though they discarded you, that seed was planted. And now that it's grown without them, they regret. They regret laughing at your dreams. They regret walking away when you were down. They regret not protecting the one who would have carried them into purpose. But it's no longer your burden to carry. This is your time to receive. Receive the clarity, the peace, the power, the supernatural alignment. You are not who you used to be, and that's exactly the point. They left thinking you would always be the same, but God was preparing a transformation they couldn't even imagine. And now, it's here. Don't shrink for their comfort. Don't downplay the glow that came from your grief. Don't soften your voice to soothe their shame. You are not who they left behind. You are who God raised up. And as you move forward, declare it with your life. I am the chosen one. Not because I wanted the title, but because I carried the weight. I walked through fire and didn't burn. I sat in darkness and still saw the vision. I was abandoned and still loved. Rejected and still blessed. And now I'm rising, not with arrogance, but with authority. not to get even, but to glorify the God who never left me. Let them sit in their regret. That is their process now. What they do with it is between them and the divine. You don't need closure. You are the closure. Your life is the final word. Your evolution is the response. Your breakthrough is the revelation. They regret losing you now because they finally see who you really are. But you knew. You always knew. You just had to become it fully. Now the world will see it too. Let your life speak. Let your glow announce your healing. Let your peace declare your power. You are walking in divine justice, not in secret, but in full view. Let the ones who turned away now witness the hand of God on your life. Have you ever wondered why the people you helped the most became the ones who hurt you the deepest? Why the very souls you lifted up, encouraged, and stood beside during their darkest hours became the same ones who left you stranded in your storm? Why, despite your pure heart, your unwavering love, your spiritual depth, you still became the target? Let me tell you the truth, chosen one. You were never attacked because you were weak. You were attacked because of what you carry. You are a mirror, and when people looked at you, they didn't just see your face. They saw everything they were trying to avoid within themselves. You reflected their lies. You revealed their wounds. You made them confront what they had buried. And for some, that confrontation was too much to handle. You were targeted because your light exposed darkness, not just in environments, but in people. Your energy unsettled the unhealed. Your peace disturbed their inner chaos. Your consistency made their flakiness uncomfortable. And instead of growing alongside you, they chose to attack the source of their discomfort. You. You were not too much. You were just too real. But understand this. Spiritual warfare often comes dressed in human faces. The jealousy, the betrayal, the mockery. It wasn't just personal. It was spiritual. The enemy doesn't attack empty vessels. He targets those who are dangerous to his agenda. And you, chosen one, are dangerous, not because of your appearance, not because of your talents, but because of your anointing. Your presence alone disrupts demonic patterns. You don't even have to speak, and the atmosphere shifts. That's why you've always felt tension when you walked into certain rooms. That's why people seem to dislike you without knowing you. You weren't being rejected. You were being spiritually resisted. But here's the paradox. The more they tried to break you, the more they activated you. They thought their rejection would diminish your light, but instead it turned you inward, back to the source, back to the divine, where you remembered who you really are. They thought the betrayal would make you bitter, but it made you better. It deepened your discernment. It sharpened your spirit. It drew you into your sacred calling. And now here you are, still standing, still shining, stronger, wiser, more aligned. And the irony? Now they want back into the light they once couldn't stand. Now they wish they had protected the one they betrayed. Now they see. But don't be confused. Most people never hated you. They hated how they felt around you, because you reminded them of what they were suppressing. You awakened a truth in them that they weren't ready to face. And instead of letting you lead them toward healing, they pushed you away to protect their illusions. Your rejection was never about your inadequacy. It was about their spiritual blindness. Chosen one, you were always the portal, the doorway, the key, but they didn't have the capacity to honor that. And they're paying the price, not just in their emotions, but in their spirit. Because to mishandle a vessel of God is to suffer spiritual consequence. This isn't about revenge. This is about universal law, spiritual order, divine protection. And here's the deeper truth. Many people only value what they lose. They only realize your worth once you're gone. Once your presence is no longer accessible. Once your energy is no longer healing their chaos. They miss the calm. They miss the clarity. They miss the light. And yet, they still don't understand that what they miss is not just you, it's the God in you. That's why they're drawn back to your orbit, even after everything. But don't be fooled. Some come back because they've changed. Others come back because they've lost access to your favor. You must discern the difference, because you're no longer the healer they can drain. You're the warrior they must now respect. Your soul didn't go through the fire just to be recycled back into dysfunction. You didn't climb out of that pit just to entertain old patterns. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. And you must protect your peace now like your purpose depends on it, because it does. The most dangerous thing about being a chosen one is the tendency to overextend, to keep loving those who've proven they don't value you, to keep explaining your intentions to people committed to misunderstanding you. But that season is over. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. You don't need to shrink your light to avoid triggering others. You don't need to explain your evolution to those who abandoned you in your cocoon. They saw you small. That was their lens. But now you're flying, and those who only loved the caterpillar will never understand the butterfly. It's time to release them, not with bitterness, but with wisdom. Forgive, bless, and let them sit in the lesson. They had access to something sacred, and they let ego, envy, and ignorance blind them. You were the divine detour, the answered prayer in disguise, the chance to elevate, and they fumbled it. But now everything hidden is being revealed. Everything crooked is being made straight. Everything stolen is being restored, sevenfold. Because you are not just a survivor, you are the fulfillment of prophecy. The evidence that what God ordains no man can destroy, that no weapon formed against you can prosper, not because they don't try, but because you are protected. So don't let the regret of others distract you. Let it teach them. You have a mission to fulfill. You carry ancient wisdom. You are not just healing your own bloodline, you're healing the atmosphere. Your presence is a portal. Your words are fire. Your silence is strategy. They regret losing you, and they should, because they didn't just lose a person, they lost a divine connection. But you've gained everything. Clarity, power, peace, purpose, and most of all, awareness. Now you see who they really were. Now you see who you really are. And once you see, you cannot unsee. Chosen one, your journey has never been about fitting in. It's always been about waking up. And now that you're awake, you're unstoppable. You, chosen one, were never meant to be ordinary. You were set apart before your first breath, designed by divine hands, shaped in spiritual fire, wrapped in heavenly protection. And although the world tried to reduce you, dismiss you, and bury your brilliance, here you are, standing, radiant, reborn. Everything you've walked through, every betrayal, every rejection, every silent night where you questioned your worth, it all led here. You are not broken. You are awakened. And as you stand in the light of your transformation, you must know this is just the beginning. The regret they feel now, it's confirmation that you were never the problem, that the love you gave wasn't wasted, that your discernment wasn't flawed, it was divine. They see you now, but you were always visible to God. While they slept on your worth, heaven was preparing your rise. And now that rise is irreversible. They regret losing you. But the real truth is, they were never equipped to walk with you in the first place. Some people were only assigned to your pain, not your promise. They were sent as lessons, not lifelines. And when the lesson is complete, the separation becomes sacred. The more you elevate, the clearer the distance becomes. You begin to see that not everyone can walk at your altitude, not because they're bad people, but because your destiny requires a different level of purity, awareness, and spiritual commitment. You are not here to carry dead weight. You are here to carry light. And now, the people who once took your presence for granted are learning the hard way that divine energy cannot be replaced. You weren't just nice, you were sent. You weren't just kind, you were anointed. And now that your light is rising, they look back with open eyes and aching hearts. But you must keep moving forward, because something greater is calling your name. The tables have turned not for show, but for purpose. Your elevation is a sign to others that divine justice is real, that staying pure, even when it hurts, pays off. That love rooted in truth will always find its reward. You didn't need to fight back. You didn't need to prove them wrong. You just needed to remain aligned, and God did the rest. And now blessings are finding you in ways you never imagined. Opportunities are opening where there once were only closed doors. Your name is being spoken in rooms you've never entered. Your spirit is being felt by people who haven't even met you yet. That's divine favor. That's spiritual royalty. That's what happens when you remain faithful to your mission, even in the face of heartbreak. You didn't need validation. You needed remembrance. To remember who you are, to remember whose you are, to remember the fire in your bones, the prophecy on your life, the angels that walk beside you. You were never walking alone, even when it felt like it. The loneliness was preparation. The silence was revelation. And now the isolation is over. It's time to embrace the new, the real, the aligned. Those who honor your spirit, who speak life into your vision, who don't flinch when your light shines. These are the souls you were always meant to walk with. Let the rest stay behind. Let them sit in their choices. Don't let guilt pull you backward. Don't let regret reopen wounds. You've healed too much, cried too hard, grown too deep to shrink back now. This next chapter isn't about proving who you are. It's about being who you are, fully, boldly, unapologetically. The chosen one, the called, the refined, the one they tried to erase but couldn't. You are walking proof that divine favor can't be blocked, that destiny can't be denied, that no betrayal, no lie, no abandonment can override what God has written. So lift your head, beloved. Walk tall, walk wise, walk covered. You are protected, you are rising, you are glowing with the grace of survival and the strength of purpose. And as you continue forward, may you never forget this truth. You were never forgotten. You were simply being hidden until the appointed time, and now that time has come. Let the regret sit where it belongs, in the past. Let your energy speak for itself. Let your peace silence every lie. You are the chosen one, and now the world finally sees what heaven always knew. If this message resonated with you, know that you were meant to hear it. This was a divine reminder of who you are and the power you carry. If you're walking this path, never forget, you are not alone. There are others like you rising too, remembering their truth, embracing their light. Type, "I am chosen," in the comments if you feel this in your spirit. Share your journey, speak your truth. This is your time, this is your confirmation. Until next time, stay strong, stay glowing, and stay deeply aligned with the divine. You're not just surviving anymore, you're reigning, and the heavens are smiling on you. Peace and power, chosen one.